Welcome to placing a trade direct on an exchange. For the purpose of this video, we're going to be using ByBit as our default exchange. It is just quite a good exchange with strong fees, and it's really available to pretty much everybody out there. With exchanges, it's highly likely that an exchange was the first place you traded with when starting in crypto, and it is also highly likely the same place that you trade now. This is because if it ain't broke, it doesn't need fixing. The general issue with exchanges, they severely lack any kind of advanced trading tools like multiple TPs, trailing stop losses, or investment risk amount calculators. But what they lack in tools, they make up for in zero lag and execution. The entry of the trade is going to be pretty quick, but there is a little bit of post-trade management required. Ultimately, this is my favorite for crypto scalping. So let's take a look at where this ranks against the other methods of placing a trade. The speed to enter a signal is really quick. It's like 9 out of 10. The only reason for it not being 10 out of 10 is because, like TradingView, it's not all on one screen. The auto risk calculator is literally 1 out of 10. So unless you're doing it manually, then there is no support on the actual exchange. However, I would say 8 out of 10 using the TradingView tool, which is what we're going to be doing. The post-trade editing is super easy. You can do that all on the actual exchange screen itself. And then I'd give that 9 out of 10 with the open trade tracking. Again, is super easy. It's an exchange for God's sake, so it should be pretty good. The cost to run is 10 out of 10 because it's only the exchange fees, which you're going to be paying anyway. And then lastly, it's the asset availability is 5 out of 10. This is because the only assets available will be whatever is on that exchange. So if it's a crypto exchange, you're only going to be trading crypto, and that's pretty much about it. So there are some added perks though. Such as with ByBit, you do have access to copy trading, which is a pretty new feature to some exchanges, such as BitGet as well. However, copy trading on exchanges isn't quite as easy to access as it is on such things as any, as you do need to be accredited. So that means you need a bit of a trading record. Let's take a little look at the preparation you're going to need in order to start trading. And before you even start thinking about placing an active trade, make sure all of these things are in place. First off, you need to make sure the long position tool on TradingView and the short position tool is on your favorites bar, and it is set up according to your preferred account size and also risk per trade for both the long and the short, as this is basically going to be your risk calculator for making sure that you place the exact right amount in the exchange when you need it. Again, we advise that you use 2 screens for this one, at least one for TradingView and also one for ByBit. Pretty critical to make things a bit snappier. So once you've set your balance and also risks for each of the position tools, make sure that you have the paper trading broker linked on TradingView. So you just come down and you'll click where it says trading, and then you can just link your paper trading there. If you have any trouble finding it, then let's take a look at where it is. This is kind of how it looks. So click on your trading panel and then just click connect to TradingView and it'll populate just here. And then make sure that you open your trading panel on the right. This is all to basically make calculating your risk ultra fast. Next step is head on over to your exchange, which is ByBit, and make sure that you add just up here when you're adding all of your assets, favorite the ones that you're going to trade in. It's quite easy just to make sure that this links up with what you are trading. So let's say we're using the top 20 market cap assets. We're going to make sure that we want to see the top 20 market cap assets up here at the top so we can access them really, really quick. Then the next thing to do is to go across all of your assets just here and make sure that your leverage is set to what you want. You might want to trade to 20x leverage across everything, or you might want to trade across max leverage to everything. It is entirely up to you. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference in the long run because you are using stop losses and all risk-based trading. One thing I will recommend is do not use isolated, especially if you're using max leverage, because this can basically stop you out. For instance, a 100x would stop you out after 1%, regardless if you use an isolated. And if you've got a stop loss at 2%, you will be stopped out early. So please be mindful of that. 2 more things before we get cracking is make sure that you've got limit set up, because this is going to be the foundation of keeping your fees low for scalping. And the order by quantity. This again is going to be super important for when setting your risk and your position sizes correctly. Let's jump straight into setting up a trade. There is going to be a little bit more jumping around on this one than the other ones, but it isn't actually much slower at all. So let's take a look at setting up a trade. So let's assume that we have just received a long signal on this candle right here. The first thing we're going to do is open up our long position. Of course, we would open up the short position tool if it was a short, but for the sake of this, we're going to be using a long position tool. Our risk reward is going to be 1.5, which is what we set to just there, or at least close to it anyway. So one thing to be mindful of when you do create a limit order off this, it is going to give you the percentage risk just here of whatever your account balance is in the paper trading one, regardless of whatever you put your account size there. So that being said, all you have to do is make sure that this matches what balance you're using or want to use equivocally in your ByBit exchange. So say for instance my ByBit exchange is $1,000 and our risk per trade is 0.25%. That is absolutely fine. We're going to hit create limit order. It will tell me that my risk is 2.5% in accordance with what my paper trading account balance is there. So you can completely disregard this. That's because the actual risk is set to 0.25% of $1,000. So therefore, this little number here, your unit of how much is going to go into the trade, is 0.25% of $1,000, or whatever your ByBit balance is and you've assigned to each of these trades. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to copy this. Now we are on this screen and you can see that this whole trading panel has been populated. The key number that we are concerned about is this amount of units just here, which is 0.25% of the $1,000 which we allocated, or whatever your ByBit account would be. The first thing to take a key note of is the order price. Now, do you want to enter at the last current market price, or do you want to enter at your specific price that you assigned on here? Since it's going to be so quick, it is probably going to be pretty close regardless of what you do. But make sure that you don't hit last and the price is shot up massively and your trade seems to be quite invalidated. Next up, we're going to paste our amount here. So the order by quantity is going to go just there. It'll tell you how much you're actually going to be investing and how much you will get after leverage. And then since we're going to go long, we'll simply hit buy long. And there we go. It has opened pretty much instantly, as we can see just down here. Always be mindful that you don't have any other trades open in that asset. You can actually open in a hedged format. So if you have a long, if I had a short BTC there, then I could have opened a long BTC. Now onto the post-trade management. And the most important thing that we have right now is we are currently in a trade. We have got that trade open in 5 to 10 seconds kind of thing if we really start to get a shift on with it. But the first thing we want to do is we want to secure the trade and set a stop loss. So we're going to go down here and add stop loss. And we can do this very easily by coming back to this screen and we find the stop loss price, which is just here. And we head on back and we just simply paste the stop loss in there. We can either enter a market sell now if we want to by just coming back here again, entering the take profit price and pasting it just in here if we want. But we're not going to do that because we want to make sure we're keeping our fees nice and low. So we're now going to set the stop loss, which will appear just there. So we have the stop loss set, which is fantastic. But we don't have the take profit price set just yet. So what we're going to do is we are going to set a limit take profit. Now simply come down here where it says close by limit or market. If we hit market, it'll close the trade instantly. If we hit limit, it'll give us the option to close at the current price. Although we're not going to do that. We're going to take the take profit price just here. Going to head on back here and we're going to type in the take profit price just there. And we'll hit confirm. So now we have a limit sell right up here, which is great. Now have a full trade setup. So this is great because we can move these around so fluidly as well. We don't need to have any confirmations, and the same with the limits as well. We just move that up there, gives it a little confirmation. And that is all set in accordance with the 1.5x risk reward because we're doing everything based off these long and short position tools. But for the most part, what is important about this is we're getting into the trade super fast and we can take our time a little bit thereafter to enter the stop loss and also the take profit. So there are a few more steps to do, but ultimately it is an incredibly quick process.